And good afternoon to Ralph. Thank you for joining. And back down. Very, very slow opening. Lots of volatility in the market, as we can see from the candle. But what is going to be the outcome of this? Now we're into trade number 10. See if we can get a breakdown at least towards that daily pivot. And then just keep our finger ready on the close all button. And as the market reaches past the original take profit, we can get a close if it reaches past it, that is. So there on the power zone tools, we see we're in that sort of support zone. $34,037, okay. What is that? 34,038. So yeah, just the daily pivot there. I'm going to turn off the next trade in the sequence. Oh, okay. Wrong one. Wrong direction. Okay, now we want to turn that off, and I don't want the next trade. I want to put myself into a sell position. I'll turn the entry off, and then I'll go down to the pending orders and just delete the pending. And then I can just hedge that when I need to. Ultimately, I want to be on a downside position towards that daily pivot is sort of a goal here. But whether or not we're going to be able to break down to the daily low here is a good question. Ah. So still no entry into anything else at the moment. Very, very slow opening. Gold did pretty well in the end. As for the rest, there's a lot of movement. There's definitely a direction waiting to break, but we're in the unknown at the moment. So my guess is it should come down towards the daily low, which is that daily pivot here, 2 times, 1, 2. Now we're back at this low, just there, pretty much bounce off that exact same line. I would like to see a breakdown towards the daily low here twice, and then what we can do is we can get out with a close just before we get that retracement. And no, we're not so far. And make sure we get just enough over that line so we can get closed out with profit and don't get caught up in the slippage. We can see the volatility in the candle. And we can also use the new function inside the Swiss box, which is the break-even function. Usually, if we've got a clear direction, it's very easy for us to use this function. However, with the markets being so volatile and the daily low being here, where we've had sort of a double bottom first thing this morning on that daily low at the pivot, maybe it's a bit too close for us to get in and start typing break-evens. If it does break that daily low, then it should run, but I think we shouldn't take those chances. Once we get over the original take profit, we can then just get a close all and then think about a re-entry somewhere else. Times will come where we can let the trades run. It's really struggling to break down, and we're at 1 or 2 pips off there. 55, and then just here was 52. About 5 points off of getting a close there earlier. As the market pushes over the line. Take a look at the MTX there in gold. Oof. Looks like we just missed that signal. Oh, that was the signal from earlier, right? but 15-minute, so 17 seconds left on the 15-minute there. Now we'll have to get a hedge on this one. One second. There's not a lot that we could have done on that one. So we'll hedge that one there, and then we'll revisit that. But terrible opening there. What we can do actually is come over to the power zone over here. On Dow Jones. Put this one in. Oh, put a Swiss box into the chart. Okay, let's go through. And then put the settings in. So let's go in and have a look. Just over here. I want to use the money there. I'm going to come in and see exactly what the idea is. So, oof, 3K. So then what we can do over here, we can divide it up. We can go through the motions and say, you know what, 3 4s are 12. So we can put the 250 in. And we can divide that hedge up into smaller pieces. So it's a bit messy in there at the moment. We'll come back. So there's not a lot that we can do at this moment. We're still hanging around the edge there on the Dow Jones hedge. And if we come out onto the 4 of half an hour here, let's have a quick look out. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. So, usual suspects that are in the room know what the manual is. So because we've had the whole hedge, the whole trade is surrounding this big number right now. And now we're in a big hedge. Technically, it's not so bad because we're still fluctuating up and down above and below the big number. What we can do is we can actually think about closing those off one by one, right? So we've got the buys and then we've got the sells. Yeah. So when the market is above, we can go for the buys. So over here, so we can go for the buys, which are just starting from here at the bottom, and we can go and delete one and take the second one at a time. And then what we can do is we can then come down as we come down to the sell position. What we can then do from there is then we can go through and delete some of those smaller cells. 1, 2, 3. Therefore, minimizing the drawdown and minimizing the size of the trade. So you can see that we've got a slightly beneficial sell trade on at the moment. And then we come in for a manual hedge, should we need to. So remember, we've got that. So we've got the resistance line just at the top here. So usually what we should see is a small climb. And then what we could see is another drop. So let me go back down to the history there. Let me see that. 1, 2, 4. Okay. And we've got the hedge trade here, which is in a bigger profit. 46. So here we are. And what we can do, we can go through and delete some of those cells on the next drop. First of all, we'll wait to see what happens here with this resistance band. We'll see how it's going to react to that zone. If we're going to get a pullback from that same level, then we can go ahead and start deleting some of these trades and then take the smaller ones out alongside it. So over here, just with the hedge trade, we can go through and delete 1, 2, 3, and 4, all in one. So we'll go ahead and do that. So now, and then we can go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we've got to come down to here. So we're on 490. So we've got 3 buys and 3 sells. Sells are much bigger, and we've currently got a position 494 in profit. And then as the market comes down, we can probably take that one out alongside it. So we're still favoring the sell position. We've reduced the amount of trades. Unfortunately, we've taken a smaller hit on the profit. However, now we're back into the hedge position, and we're waiting for the market to ride down at the moment. So what have we got here? 47. Wow. So this was the last trade, the big one up here. So that was the last sell. We can get a hedge on this when we need to. So we've just released ourselves of that hedge. So good afternoon to Abiodun as well. Thank you for joining. A bit of a pro manual hedge release session going on today. However, now we've got that profit going on pretty much as soon as if we can make it back down to this low point here, the bottom of our open range, we're going to be in profit at that point. So we'll see if we can make it back down to that zone. Either way, we've managed to release quite a lot of that pressure from the top. Okay. And now we should get a very hard push back from that zone. Check out. So it's also rising DAX, also on a climb. But I want to see just from the chart analysis here I want to see a nice pullback from that same zone. If not, then we will re-hedge the position and then release that piece by piece over the next week. So there we go, and we're out of that zone. Okay. So we tried it. It didn't work. It was worth a try. So now what we can do is we can set up trade here inside the next big number, which is just up here. However, I want to see a pullback. Got my settings here. We're going to try and release it with the second head release option, which we have. So there's the first trade. And then depending on how well this fares out, so let's get rid of some of these big numbers. We can get rid of that. And the zone. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this back down. Let's see how far we get down with that zone. So there we are in the second. And we should see the rally continue. Okay, maybe it's a bad day for big numbers. And at this point, once we make it above that original take profit, then we can start using that break even. So that at 2. So we're at the top of that resistance zone here, which has been marked out with the master tools. So we should see a break. Okay, so now once we get above that dotted line, we can then turn on that break even and then let that trade run as far as it wants. As soon as it retraces, it's going to close it in at 2%, and that should be done. If it continues up, that was. Yeah, well, that high-low point is the daily high and low. So that's the low of today, and that's exactly the high. So as the market moves up, so will that high. It should. And if we're lucky enough, we could catch a really big rally. Once we get above, let's turn that one on. Okay, nice. If it keeps pushing up, further it pushes up, then we can change this one. The further it goes, so down here, change that to 5, turn it on. And then so that's us closed on that trade. So do the same again. 3, 8, 7, 7, 6. And then we go here, 250, turn that on. And then we get our next level. So next big number. Maybe this big number game is not the one that we want to do, but stick to what we know. Okay, so it wasn't as much as what we could have made, but definitely good enough. And then over here, we'll do the same again. Turn that on. Over here, how many do we have? Well, 5 trades as well. Okay. And then we'll stick that one on yet again, and then we'll go for the next one. So it closed just below that 5%, I guess. One active, 3 pending. Okay, well, so we still got that Nasdaq one here pending. I'm going to close this one at the bottom. And then we'll just keep the open ones at the moment for the Dow Jones. We got, okay. Where is it? It's over here. So it would have continued its rally. If it continues up to 34.4, we would have been out. But Just an unlucky pick, I guess, for the direction of the market there. Wasn't much that we could do in that situation. It was going to be one way or the other. Maybe a bit premature on the hedge release itself. Twelve, 12, 10, 10, 9, 7. So the main one is this big, massive sell which we've got on at the moment. Let's check something. Okay, so that one's seems like a good zone. Let's see if we get another drop from this. Another 600 points. Another 600 points will do. Almost entry into our box. And didn't quite make it there, unfortunately. Otherwise, that would be us currently in the profit at this level here. Shame. Could try our hands out at another hedge release tactic on here with the manual hedge release. So the next way that one could release their hedge is at the point where we think that the market has reached a peak. We have our hedge trade, which is in favor of that direction. So for an example here, we've got the hedge. I can delete this hedge and take the profit. And then as the market then pushes down and down and down, I can re-hedge. And then each time that you do that, the market will come up. So let's say here I deleted that hedge trade, and then the market comes down to here. and then I can close it. Then the market comes back up to another level, and then we delete that hedge trade again, and then we ride the pullback down. However, we've got 550 there. We could go 1, that's 6, 8, 10. So I'm going to try and reduce these swaps now. I'm going to leave the hedge overnight. I'm going to take maybe a small loss, or overall take a bigger drawdown. The way that I do this is so here we've got the bigger trade. So we've got minus 4K and we've got minus 11. The minus 4 is not the one that we want to get rid of. We want to get rid of the minus 11 as it's the biggest size trade that we have. Yeah. So one way to do that, we need to add up the profit trade. So we've got 2 here, plus 5, 7, plus 2, 3. So that's 8, and then that's 10. And then we've got a 200 minus. So we can go like this. 1, 2, 3, and there. And then what it's going to do, it's going to put us at a smaller minus of the day, minus 83 euros. However, now we still have a bit of a margin gap going on. We're favored back into the sell position, but then again, we are now coming back down a little bit further. So let's see how far we can ride that down. As you can see, the take profit is back in there now as well. But now we can re-hedge it. So whenever we need to re-hedge, there's not so many lots open at the moment. There's not many lots open at the moment, so it's not that bad tomorrow when we revisit the hedge release. We don't have an extra 500 euros in swaps to cover. And if we're lucky enough, what we can actually do is ride this down now and ride a wave down and reduce the actual hedge anyway. We'll have to wait and see. Would be great if we get down there again. Oh, so let me just close these ones up, as we're no longer participating in that. But what I do want to do is I want to see, nope, not highs and lows. So going back down to that zone again. And here we are with the trade open. So let's see. So as the market comes down a bit further. And then we'll just hedge it there. Okay. So that's us re-hedged into that position now. So we reduced it by a lot. We reduced the hedge down from 4K all the way down to just under 3. Yeah, so we've got a much smaller hedge there. We've got a small margin on because we've got a trade in on the Nasdaq. We're at a very small minus so far for the day. However, tomorrow, depending on where the market is, we can then think about a hedge release. So exactly the same way that in which we just have. So here we've got the hedge trade here, which is 23, and then we've got this one, which is 29, and we've got 2 buys. So technically what we could do is, as the market's going up tomorrow, if the markets are still up here, what we can do is we can actually partly release it and delete this small buy of 6.5 lots, and then we can try and ride a pullback with 6.5 lots in a sell position. Or what we could do is then delete this trade, which is here, and then what it would mean is we could technically take the profit, ride the pullback, and if it fell back enough, so how many points is this? So if we could catch around 100 points drop, yeah, in the Dow Jones, then what we could do, we could actually delete this trade, ride the 100-point drop, and then hope that we catch, you know, 100 points drop, and by that time we could close everything at a break-even point. However, bit of a difficult one today. Market was not playing nicely with us, unfortunately. But you know, that's just how it goes. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to close this trade with a small profit, and then we're going to just roll over that hedge until tomorrow. We've managed to reduce that significantly in the amount of sizes that we've got open. I think earlier we had maybe 400 lots overall. Now we're under 60, so that is good news indeed. So unfortunately, it's a small loss for the day. However, if we look at today compared with yesterday, we can actually go to the last. Let's go to yesterday until today. So we're still at a small plus, 1.3% profit from 30 trades. Just a shame today was not as good as usual. No worries if we get into these situations, guys. There's always a way for us to find a way. There's always a way out. Where there's a will, there's a way. And that's why we do these live trading rooms for you guys. And Mike made net 1 pip today. Wow. Usually Mike's up there making 30, 40, 50 pips per trade, but unfortunately today is not that day. So shame, but you know, that's how it is. We're gonna have to revisit this and reevaluate the situation tomorrow, and then hopefully from there we can think about an exit strategy. It's Wednesday. Hopefully tomorrow, let's check the economic calendar. I hope tomorrow there's a lot more going on. Yes, there is lots more in the morning for the German market, European market, English market, and then of course over here we've got lots of stuff coming out as well for the American market, plus all of this which is coming out later tonight. So I'm sure there will be a lot more opportunity tomorrow. I look forward to it. I hope you guys do too. So that will be it from us, or it from me today, and I look forward to seeing you all back here tomorrow afternoon and the rest of you tomorrow morning. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a good evening, have a good afternoon, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.